This is going to be a strange interview because I can't remember so many things. All I remember is that Barry and I were talking about doing something, writing something together. And I flew up to Berkeley. We sat down in his office and I told him my ideas. And then he told me his ideas. And we both hated each other's ideas.
How'd you get inside my house?
You invited me. It is not my custom to go where I'm not wanted.
So we sat there for a little bit, and then I said, I have a little idea about the Mystery Man. And Barry said, oh, I kind of like that.
Don't you ever fucking tailgate! Ever!
Tell him you won't tailgate.
Ever!
I also had a whole thing of this character of Mr. Eddie, and I can't remember how that thing got in there.
I want you to get a fucking driver's manual! I want you to study that motherfucker!
But when you work together, by talking and talking, the different threads start, knitting themselves. And there was the script.
This magic moment, so different and so new.
Lost Highway was kind of a film noir thing, but still it has a different element from a straight-ahead film noir. And I didn't ever say anything at the time, but I had a fixation on O.J. Simpson, the trial. And some of this grew out of O.J. Simpson, because here is a guy who, at least, I believe, committed 2 murders, and yet is able to go on living and speaking and, doing and golfing, things like this. And so what does the mind do after a horrific murder to protect itself from that knowledge and go on? And Barry and I talked about that. How does the mind trick itself so that that experience can be put in a place where it no longer has that horrific power and you go on living?
Tell me I didn't kill her.
And that's interesting to me. And the mind is interesting, for sure. Huge, huge stories in the mind. There was a thing that we discovered after the fact, a name of a certain illness, psychogenic fugue, which has a beautiful, beautiful feel to it. Psychogenic fugue is sort of what the film is. It comes up in people with some sort of illness. And illness is like a great loss of balance. So sometimes we do things that throw the balance off so much that we're tossed into something like a psychogenic fugue. And that's, Fred Madison. I get the psychogenic fugue almost every afternoon. The whole thing in the beginning happened to me. The intercom buzzer went off early one morning, and a voice said, "David?" And I said, "Yes." And the voice said, "Dick Laurent is dead."
Dick Laurent is dead.
Now, my next door neighbor, his name was David also, because I didn't know any Dick Laurent. And so I don't know what that meant. Now, I didn't have a window to look at right then. So I went from where I was to a different part of the house so I could try to see who was if anybody was leaving the house, who had said that. By the time I got to the window where I could see out, there was no one there. So we were looking for a location that had that same kind of difficulty seeing out the front. And I thought it might be easy, to find that, but it was the hardest location to find. And that's when this house that we're having this interview in came up for sale. And it didn't have the right configuration, but it had a good price. And if I owned a house, I could tear it apart and reconfigure it, which we did. So it worked out, really well.
Must be from a real estate agent.
I think if we saw a video of a scene that we remember, it would be very, very different from our memory.
Do you want a video camera?
No. Fred hates them.
Reality is huge. It's not anything out of reality. It's just different kinds of reality.
I like to remember things my own way.
What do you mean by that?
How I remembered them. Not necessarily the way they happened.
So it just shows you how you remember things is not necessarily the way it actually happened, but it's the way you remember it. And it's maybe even more valid than the actual thing, some ways. Bill Pullman was, absolutely great as Fred Madison. And Patricia Arquette was absolutely fantastic. Balthazar Getty, incredible, great guy, really great guy. I don't know why all of them aren't superstars.
What are you gonna do?
Stay home. Read.
One of the great things about actors is they're filled with wonder and imagination, and they get it so quick, no matter how strange a thing is. They get it, and their talent is to make it real. They get it, and their talent is to make it real from a deep place.
Read what? It's nice to know I can still make you laugh.
With actors, it's a process of talking and then trying it and then talking some more and then trying it, and it just gets closer and closer. And the things that you say in between the trying, in between the rehearsing, they might be, stupid things. But between me and the actor, they're not stupid. And they're just little keys that, put it, closer to being correct. And then when it feels correct, we both know it. It's like it needed to go from wherever it was, and then bang, it's there. I liked a lot of scenes, I like all of scenes, but I kind of like when Fred is hearing Renee calling him, and it ends up with the mystery man's face on Renee.
Fred, are you all right?
Film is made up of millions of moments, and that's the thing about it. All the elements have to feel correct. And when they feel correct, it's kind of a seamless flow. If one is out of being correct, it's so obvious. It's a disaster.
I want you.
So it's a constant kind of watching and feeling until it all feels correct. And that's, what making a film is. That's it.
You'll never have me.
Ideas, when you're lucky, they come along, an idea that you fall in love with. Or it's a series of ideas that string themselves together to a big idea, a film, a script, and a big idea that you fall in love with enough to want to go change that into film, translate that into film. And since the ideas are the most important thing, you just follow those ideas and stay true to those ideas, and there you go. It's the same on every film. Even though the ideas are different, the process is so fantastic. And so this Lost Highway was the Lost Highway ideas.
Alice who?
Her name is Renee. If she told you her name is Alice, she's lying.
To me, they were cinema ideas, that film can tell those kind of things,
What the fuck is your name?
you know, where there's still room to dream and there's abstractions and mood and feelings. And I love Lost Highway for those things.
Did I dream? You dreamed about me.